Hey everybody, good to talk with you again. I thought this week I would share in video form the story that I told on Saturday, last class, about the churning of the nectar of immortality. So it is a story about how the gods became immortal. It is also a story that functions as a kind of metaphor for our spiritual life, for the practice of meditation, of staying on track in our spiritual practice generally, uh, and looking for the changeless in the middle of the changing world. And so the story goes something like this. The devas, the gods, were at war with the demons, with the asuras. And it was going very poorly. The demons were winning. And the writing was on the wall, and the devas didn't know what to do. And so they went to Brahma, the creator god, and asked him to give them some sort of solution to their problem to help them win the war and at least stave off the demons for a while. And so Brahma thinks about it, and he thinks that no one can really take care of this except for Lord Narayana. And Lord Narayana is the presence of the absolute, the transcendent reality that is immanent in all of us, um, thought of sort of within the consciousness of the world. And so Brahma prays to Lord Narayana, and Narayana comes and he listens to the gods about what's going on. And he says, well, first, you're going to have to make a kind of truce. You're clearly losing here, and you need some breathing space. So try to get a kind of a truce. And then beyond this, there is this stuff called amrita, this nectar of immortality. And with the help of the asuras, of the demons, you two can create this immortality together, but you're going to need their help. So you should go and ask for their help on this. You should not oppose them in anything. You need to stay focused on the task of finding deathlessness in the middle of this war. And so they go to the palace of Bali, the head demon, and ask for his help in this. And they listen to what's necessary here, and they talk about how there will be good things and bad things, and it's a great struggle. And basically, the idea of it is that they're going to take a mountain, this Mount Mandara, and they're going to drag it down out of the mountains and put it in the sea. And they're going to use one of the gods, Vasuki, who is in the form of a serpent, as a kind of cable to sort of use the mountain as a kind of drill to churn the ocean until it creates this amrita. And so the gods explain this to Bali, and he agrees. And so they call a truce to the war for the length of this project of finding this amrita. And they say they'll share it together, the results of this. So they try to get the mountain down to the ocean. They can do this, but only at great cost to themselves. The mountain keeps sliding and falling on tops of various gods and demons until Narayana helps and takes the mountain down into the ocean. And so they get down to the ocean, and Vasuki wraps himself around the ocean, and the gods are at the head of Vasuki, and the demons are to take the tail, but the demons don't like this idea very much. They think it's below them. So they say, no, no, we should be at the head and you should be at the tail. And the gods, having listened to Narayana, don't oppose them in anything. And they say, okay, you can have the head. We'll take the tail. That's just fine. And so they start to pull first on the head and then on the tail, turning the mountain in the ocean, churning away at the ocean, trying to sort of create this amrita, this deathlessness in a nectar form. And so the first thing that starts happening is that the mountain starts to drill down into the ocean. It starts disappearing below the waves. And so Narayana, seeing this and seeing that the gods and the demons together aren't going to be able to stop this, he takes the form, the avatar of a tortoise, and he places himself underneath Mount Mandara and he raises it back up again. And then to keep it straight on his back, he is also at the top, holding it at the top so that it functions as a kind of a linchpin that allows them to churn the ocean. And so they're going on and they're going on. And poor Vasuki, the serpent god, is getting very tired as they're pulling on his head and then pulling on his tail and wrapping him around. And out of sheer exhaustion, he vomits up his poison and he vomits it all over the demons. And the demons are not pleased with this at all, and they're all starting to die, and so on and so forth. And Indra, seeing what's going on, uh, allows rain to fall on them and wash away all the poison. And so they get started again. And Narayana had in fact warned the gods. He said that there will be a lot of things that come out of this process of churning. There will be poison, and you don't need to fear it. And there will be good things. There will be things of beauty, and you don't need to covet them. You need to keep focused on the task and surrender to this task of churning this deathlessness, this changelessness in the midst of the changing world. And so they go on and they start churning again and again and again, back and forth, back and forth. The ocean is all roiled up. It's going all milky, with this sort of the foam being created and so on and so forth. And out of the ocean itself appears poison. And this poison is so great that it threatens to overwhelm everybody. And there is no hope, it seems, until Shiva takes the poison from the ocean and swallows it himself. And he holds it in his neck, and he keeps it from going down. And his neck turns blue with this active, and this becomes sort of a symbol of compassion, right? So him taking in the poison of the world and holding it there in his neck. In various stories, others hold it for him, but in any case. This is why he's referred to sometimes as Nilakant, as the blue-necked one. And so they go on and they keep sort of churning and churning and churning. They've gotten through 2 bouts of poison now. And then suddenly out of the ocean appears Kamadhenu, this cow. So this cow appears who can fulfill any wish, any desire. You simply have to ask, right? And so he represents in a way sort of answered prayers, answered religious ritual prayers. So the desire for things in this world. And so the demons want that one, right? And then out comes next this mythical horse, and they want that one too. And then out comes this mythical elephant, and they let Indra have the elephant, right? And then jewels appear, and so on and so forth. The Apsaras appear, these mythical, beautiful beings who play music and live in this sort of gorgeous celestial world, and so on and so forth. And all these various beings and riches are coming out from this process of the churning. And then finally, out of the waves appears Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune. And she's so beautiful and so majestic that everyone who has taken any of these previous gifts immediately offers them to her in the hopes that she will be their wife, that she will be their consort, that she will stay with them. And Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, is looking down on everybody and trying to decide if there's someone for her. And she finds all the gods and all the demons wanting, except for Lord Narayana himself. He is the only one who has overcome desire fully. And so she sits with Narayana while the rest of the process is going on. And so all of this is going on, and there's sort of various gorgeous creatures coming out, and so on and so forth. And they're churning away and churning away and churning away, but there's still no Amrita, until finally out of the ocean appears Dhanvantri, this beautiful young man who is carrying a vessel of gold. And in the vessel of gold is the Amrita, is this nectar of immortality. And so immediately the Asuras run up and they grab this vessel of gold from him and they take it away, and they're fighting amongst themselves like demons will about who will be the first to drink of this nectar of immortality. And so they're fighting away and they're fighting away, and the gods aren't getting anywhere near this nectar. And Narayana knows very well the idea of immortal demons is not really a good idea for this world that we live in. And so he takes the form of Mohini. Mohini is sort of means sort of the enchantress. So she is beyond belief in terms of she's so attractive, she is beautiful, she is enchanting. And when the demons see her, they fall at her feet. They say, "This is the one we want. She loves us, we love her. We will give anything for her, etc., so on and so forth." And we put ourselves at her mercy. She is the one who will decide who will first drink of this nectar of immortality. And so in reality, this is Narayana, but in the form of this beautiful, enchanting woman. And so um, he asks for the gods and the demons to all sit in formation, and she is walking among them, and she is giving these sort of glances of love and beauty towards the demons to keep them enchanted. And meanwhile, when she passes one of the devas, one of the gods, she gives him his portion of immortality. And so the gods are receiving the immortality, and the demons are falling for this enchantment, for this illusion. All except for one, and his name is Rahu. And so Rahu, seeing what's going on, he takes the form of a god, and he seats himself between the sun and the moon, and he fools Mohini, and he receives a dollop of this immortality, and he very quickly takes it and starts to drink it. At which point Narayana realizes his mistake. And so very quickly he chops Rahu's head off from his body before the Amrita has a chance to actually enter the body. And so Rahu's body falls to the ground, dead, but the head remains immortal. And this is used to explain eclipses, right? So there is this eternal head, this eternal sort of dragon's head, and it comes, and periodically it eats the moon, and that's an eclipse. But then the moon comes out back, right? Or the same with the sun, right? So you see the shape of Rahu moving across the sky, and will temporarily block the sun or the moon, but not forever, because it's just his head, not the whole body. Okay. So anyways, this is a story that has many, many meanings depending on how you look at it. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you all on Saturday. Any questions, please reach out. Take care.